How do? My name is Andrew Hancock, and I am a VMware technical architect from Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. I have worked with VMware since their birth in 1998, so that's been a quarter of a century now. I've been working with the VMware product catalogue. Some of my close friends say if you cut Andy in half, it reads VMware like a stick of rock from Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I have now written over 130 articles and recorded over 30 hours of VMware vSphere 7 and 8 videos for Experts Exchange, and received 40 Expert Exchange awards over the last 11 years working with the Expert Exchange community. I am currently the overall #1 point earner in the Hall of Fame. I am honoured to have been accepted into the VMware vExpert program since 2011, and I'm currently a VMware vExpert Pro for the last 4 years. And welcome back to another Hancock VMware half hour. Now, okay, I did turn around and say that the last video I did on how to back up and install using BDR Suite by Vembu was going to be my last video of 2023 for Experts Exchange. I lied. I've got so carried away with backup and restores, which seem to have basically dominated my life over the last 2 or 3 weeks, that there was one product really that I really have a passion for, and I think it's great. And I did actually meet the author and the company of this particular software package at VMworld in 2015. And I just thought that it was a marriage made in heaven. So we're going to quickly look at that today. I haven't visited this particular application in certainly since 2015. So it's been 8 years. So this could go completely Pete Tong. Just bear with and we'll see how it goes. And the product that I'm going to look at today to do a backup and restore, in exactly the same way that we did a backup and store with BDR Suite by Vembu. This particular product is called Nakivo. I think I've got that right. I keep getting it wrong. But there is an application or an appliance or a software product or a plugin, whatever you want to call it, which can be installed on a Synology NAS. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate in this particular video. So I've actually basically logged in to my Synology NAS, and please ignore the warning about it saying critical. I do know about that, and I have been trying to fix it. But to be honest, really, I'm struggling. And I think I might have to basically put a call into Synology to sort them out. But anyway, so this is how we actually basically install, I think it's Nakivo. If I'm saying that wrong, Nakivo, please let me know and correct me. So we go to the package center in Synology, which is a bit like the Synology App Store, where you've actually got applications like Active Backup for Business, which again is a product that comes free with the Synology NAS, that also can back up and restore your virtual environment. So maybe next year we'll cover that one. Forgotten about that one until I sort that. But the one that interests me is Nakivo. And if I basically just put NAC there, then you can basically see it there. I have actually got it right. Nakivo. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. But anyway, so all we do is click install. Now, the real benefit of this is that, one, it doesn't need a virtual server. It doesn't need a physical server. You may already have a Synology NAS, which is completely separate and isolated from your VMware vSphere environment. So not only does the application run on your NAS, it also backs up to the same NAS as well. And wow, what could be better than that? So I'm just actually basically going to install it onto volume 1. And I'm going to run the installation afterwards. I'm hoping that there's a trial. As I said, it's been a long time since I've used this particular application. It's a long time since I've actually installed it. And I'm hoping that it actually basically comes with a trial license. or a free license, which will allow us very, very quickly to add our vCenter server 8A and back up and restore Observium. So what I'm going to do while that's doing that, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to delete from disk because we don't want another Observium in there. So yep, so that's deleted, and we'll do the same thing again. We'll power it on, we'll back it up, we'll make a change, and then we'll do a restore to see if it captures that change in exactly the same way that we've demonstrated with BDR Suite by Vembu. I really wanted to do another, it was playing on my mind last night, but people may sort of kind of think VMware vExpert. I'm sort of kind of biased towards Vembu. I'm not. I think all third-party backup applications I think are very, very good. And as long as they do what they say on the tin, which is backup and restore, and you can demonstrate that the restored file works, that's really all you ask of a backup application. Okay, so I've installed Nakivo backup and replication. So I'm going to click open. It's obviously basically going to another port. So I'm going to say proceed. This is now going, it's asking me to log in. Oh, I have to create an account. Okay, so let's just create, I don't know where this is creating an account. Maybe it's creating an account in Nakivo. We will see. As I said, it's a long time since I've used this particular application, but I'll just actually, it's asking me to create an account. So that's interesting. Didn't actually basically ask me to repeat the password, so I forgot that wrong. Want me to log in? So let's do create account. Okay, inventory. Add the inventory. I assume at that point we can add a. Okay, so we can add a vCenter server. Okay, so again, you know, we've got Hyper-V, Nutanix, VMware Cloud Director Server. So we've got a few options there that we can use. Display name. So we'll do vCenter server E lab. I'm thirsty here. I need to go and get a drink. So we're going to do vCenter 8A Cyrus consultants.co.uk. I think I need to get a better keyboard or type better. I was watching one of the previous videos and I thought to myself, God dear me, there's some typo, there's some real bad type, isn't it? And it does make me wonder whether or not that it's this keyboard. Use a direct connection or assign a transport. I don't know what that is. So if I don't know what it is, I'm just going to say finish. Again, I would like a test option. I did mention this when I was looking at BDR Suite. Would be nice for a test option, really, but we'll click finish. Items 1, I wonder if I can click that. It's got a red exclamation mark there. So failed. Okay. So can we, okay, credentials? Nope. Wondering whether or not that we can, how can we edit it? Or do I just have to? No entry can be sort of edit. Right, rather than this go on for ages, just let me pause this and work out how, you know, hence the test option, see? Okay, so I've had a little look around for about the last 10 minutes or so. And I actually found the reason why this wasn't working, and it wasn't anything to do with actually with a password problem. If I'd actually look at show error, and that doesn't really mean a lot, but if I actually basically look at before, it was actually showing me. Let's try again. It was actually showing me when I had a little look before. There we go. Only vCenter from 5.5 to 8.01 are supported, and we're running 8.0 U2 in the lab. So I thought, okay. So I had a little look at Nakivo, sorry, backup and replication version 10.10.1 update. I think we're running about 10.8, which is what we've downloaded from the Synology App Store. I had a little look here, and it actually is telling me the installer for Synology DSM-6 is available from our website, which is this one. The DSM-7 package is undergoing Synology verification process, and we're in a few weeks. I don't really know when this was published. I can't see any dates, but the package that we installed on our DSM-7 NAS came from the package store, which was 10.8. So I can only assume that it's not available yet. So I've had to basically find another Synology NAS. We've got a few of them here. This is running DSM-6, which I think I got an email yesterday telling me that this goes end of life sometime in November 2024. So I've downloaded the, I've downloaded the manual package for this. Which is this one here, 10.10.1 update. And I'm going to see whether or not I can actually install this on this particular NAS, and then we'll do exactly the same thing. DSM-7, DSM-6 is not really an awful lot of difference. The graphics have changed a bit, but it's the same procedure. I will continue. Yes. I'm going to accept the license. Yes. I'm going to run. Yes. This is actually basically a much larger unit. We don't keep it on all the time. It just powers itself up overnight, backs up a lot of stuff around here, uploads to the cloud, and then turns off in the morning. So I thought, just to get this video done for you to show that there are other backup and replication products available for VMware vSphere, then we will use this particular NAS, which is using DSM-6. It may not be the latest and greatest, but it will do exactly the same thing. And this is a rack mount one with about 10 disks in. So this is a much bigger unit, a bigger enterprise type unit than the other NAS that we were using. So hopefully we can get exactly to the same place. We can add our vCenter server. We can do some backups and restores. So I'm just going to pause this while this installs. So this looks a bit funky, looks a bit different to the last version that we started and logged in and created an account, etc. And this one is actually basically saying starting, please wait. I have just pinged off an email to Nakivo to ask them, do they know if the 10.10 is available for DSM-7 in the Synology App Store? And we'll see what they say. But maybe I'll do another video on Nakivo for DSM-7 in the new year, or between now and the new year, and we'll get that published in 2024. And maybe we'll do another video on Synology's own backup application as well. Maybe we'll do that one. Maybe we'll throw another one in, and maybe we'll do Veeam. But everybody really knows Veeam, don't they? Anyway, I'm just waiting for this to starting, and this may not even start. I don't know. It would help if I turn the microphone on. Okay, so I've been sat here puzzling, waiting for Nakivo backup and replication starting. Please wait. It's just not my week. I'm going to leave this for an hour and see whether or not that it does anything. I'm going to put the video on pause. There's no point recording this and then speeding it up in post, just watching some circles go around. I don't really think this is going to go anywhere. Sadly, the neurons in the brain are joining up together, and I sort of kind of remember I technically lied that I did actually basically look at Nakivo I think 2 or 3 years ago again on the NASes here on Synology, and I couldn't get them to work. And kindly Nakivo were going to reach out and they were going to have a little look at with engineering to see what was actually basically going on. And I sort of kind of turned around and said, okay, abandon that. Don't spend any time on it because we're only really looking at the product, trialing it anyway. We're not actually going to basically move forward to using it in production because we use another application for that. I wonder which one that is. Yeah, I'm going to go away. I'm going to make a fire. It's quiet today. The wind has died down. I think it was Storm Pi yesterday. I think began with P anyway. So it's calm today. The wind has dropped, but it is cold. It is winter. It is the winter solstice today. So happy winter solstice, everybody. So anyway, I'm going to bob down. I'm going to make a fire. I'm going to get a drink of coffee. I might pop out to town and come back and see whether or not this has actually basically done anything, or the NAS has blown up, because the NAS is not really even doing an awful lot either. So I don't really know what the problem is here. I might actually use a different browser and see whether or not it's any. Wow, I don't think it's anything to do with the browser I'm using. Anyway, so if anything happens here, I'll continue the video and it will get published in 2023. However, you know, we are at some deadlines today at getting videos completed, transcoded, uploaded and published. So we're in the luck of the gods with this one. Okay, I'll come back shortly. Okay, so it's working. I am astounded. So there's a moral there to the story. Be patient. It clearly did start up. So I'm hoping that we're not going to basically be plagued with any more errors. I was going to put. So this is exactly the same thing that we did previously with the version that was running on DSM-7 on another NAS. So we're going to click create account, and hopefully that's going to go off. Registration is complete. But I guess it says registration service exception. Oh, okay. Don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping this time interface is exactly the same. So I'm hoping this time that when we add our virtual server, got a few different options here, or a few less options here. So virtual VMware vCenter server. Yep. Okay. So display name vCenter 8A E lab. Our host name is vCenter 8A. Cyrus Consultants, FQDNs. Remember, username is that. We can do finish, and hopefully we're not going to get an error message this time, and it's going to. Oh, okay. So we've not got a. It's not actually basically found any VMs yet or templates yet, but it's not giving us an error message. So okay, it's adding. Okay, something's happening up here. Look, 50%. So it's finding our VMs, 95%. I like the graphic. I like the GUI. So it's still adding at 95%. Okay, so we've got 2 hosts, 10 VMs, which is what we saw before. So we've got an inventory. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So let's just click overview. Let's go back. Click overview. Is it going to... Okay, maybe we've got to complete this wizard. So let's just click next. Yeah, I know all about that. Got it. We're going to use the online transporter. It says it's good. I'll click next. We've got 4.48 terabytes on board to back up. Click finish. And hopefully that's going to bring us to the overview. This all looks a bit complicated, but no, it's telling us where we've logged in from. We've added successfully. So let's create a job. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to create an Observium backup job. So there's no jobs available, so we just click. So I want to do backup for VMware. And I'm going to select one VM, which is Observium. I'm going to click next. Onboard repository. Yeah, I'm going to use the onboard repository. That's the whole point, really, of actually basically installing Navico on the Synology NAS so that there's no separate instance for a backup server, because your NAS is actually the backup server and the NAS is actually backing up your environment onto itself. So it's completely isolated should your vSphere environment completely blow up. Not really bother with any of these schedules because I just really want to do, oh, okay, immutable, so it can't be changed. So I don't really want to do a schedule as such. This is a schedule name. Do not schedule, run on demand. That's what I want to do. So I click next. Job name. So we'll just call it, well, I know what. I'll call it backup job for VMware. I'm going to accept the defaults. I'm going to click finish and run. Run for all VMs. Run for selected VM. So that's the selected VM. Run. And hopefully that's going to kick into action. And that's actually going to start showing. So the backup job is there. Okay, so it's actually taking the snapshot and repairing data transfer. So if we actually go back to our environment, I thought maybe that I might see a task in there, but I don't. So it's taking the snapshot still. It's actually basically saying it's running 13.3%, taking the snapshot. So it's all basically telling us down here what it's doing. Okay, there's the create the snapshot there. So we're just a little bit, it's doing things and it's a little bit sort of kind of delayed. Okay, so the snapshot's been created. So now it's actually basically running. It's at 27%. Virtual machines 20%. The source size is 8.3. There was something that popped up on the last video. I must admit, I don't really nerd off on looking at backup sizes. But one of the things I actually noticed about the VDR suite by Vembu, which puzzled me, but again, I haven't really looked at other applications in how really they're doing backups and they're doing restores, providing that we actually get a restore. But one of the things I noticed, and I've deleted now, I can't show you, is I noticed that the backup size that Vembu created of Observium was 25 gig, which puzzled me because the virtual disk size of Observium is 25 gig thin, but currently only 8.3 gig of it is actually in use. So I don't know what other data was backed up by Vembu beyond 8.3 gig, because there isn't any, unless it just pads it out to the size of the disk. On restoring the disk, I noticed that it had fully inflated it to 25 gig, not 8.3, which is what actually exists. So I did actually basically post this to a couple of other vExperts as a Christmas question, just really as a, what's going on here? I would have thought for efficiency, it would have just backed up 8.3 and restored 8.3, but made sure that the configuration was a 25 gig thin disk. So that puzzled me. So I'll be very interested to see with Nakivo, when we do the restoration, whether or not that we've got an 8.3 gig disk or have we got a fully inflated 25 gig thin disk. Okay, so there isn't much more really than I can tell you other than just waffle on, which I can do for many hours. So I'll let this continue. I'll disappear. I need to do the try hack me today because it's past 4 o'clock. I didn't actually manage to get a drink, although I did eat some pickled onions, and I put the fire on. So we'll speed this up in post. I'll come back when this finishes and we'll kick the restore off. We'll do the changes on the VM. We'll capture them again as an incremental, and then we'll do the restore in exactly the same way that we did Vembu. And I'm just going to have a little look at this activities. I think maybe this is the activity here. Nope, I stand corrected. Oh, okay. So this is it. This is the activity, the backup job for VMware, which is currently at 34.9%. What other options have we got here? Stop. The interface is really clean and responsive. So looking good, Nakivo. Okay, so I'm going to bob off, and I will come back shortly. Okay, good. We have our first backup. So without further ado, I'm going to log on to a web console of Observium. I'm in the home directory, so I'm going to create a what did I call the last one? So I'm going to create mkdir ee-test1. I'm going to log into the login. I'm going to change directory to the ee-test. I'm going to touch another file, touch file.test. But one other thing we're going to do here as well, I'm also going to update this server as well. Get all the latest security updates on it. Dist upgrade to apply the patches. Yes. So when we do our incremental backup, it will capture all these changes. And when we restore this server, then we can compare this server with the old server, because it shouldn't be asking us anymore if we've got any patches that are required. And I'll do the distribution as well. Dist dash upgrade as well. Nothing to do. Okay, so that's all the changes that I've done on our Observium. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to jobs, and I'm going to have a look at that back, and I'm just going to basically turn around and say run for selected VMs, Observium, keep restore points for 30 days. Backup type's going to be incremental. I'm going to click run. And hopefully that will capture the changes that we've just made. Now, interestingly, there is currently a bug in 8.0U2 which affects CBT, change block tracking, which apparently is a bug that was in vSphere back in 5.5 about 8 years ago, I think. That's currently going around. It's not applicable to what we're doing here. But I will put that link, if it's been published, in the description as well, so you can see whether or not that is it applicable to you. So anyway, so again, I'm going to bob off. I'm going to get my Coke and have a drink of it, because I'm definitely parched. And I'll be back shortly, and we'll do a restore, and we'll check to see whether or not that we've got those changes. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, I'm back. That didn't take very long. I just quickly noticed it actually basically turned around and said 1.8 gig had been transferred. So that incremental change, those updates that we applied and the test file and directory, 1.8 gigs of data was changed in the incremental. Okay, so all for us to do now is to recover the virtual machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down Observium, power, shut down guest. We're going to go back to and I'm going to click recover, because I'm sure, okay, so we can do a very similar function here to what was originally developed in Veeam, flash boot for VMware. I think that's similar to boot from backups, the same that we actually basically saw within VMBoo as well, the BDL suite. which actually allows us very, very quickly to be able to recover a virtual machine and run it from backups, and then later on actually fail that back over to your data store. But I'm going to do a full recovery. What does that look like? Okay, so backup job, Observium, always use the latest recovery point. So that was the incremental that we made, which was then. But you could actually basically just use the last recovery point, or you could specify a recovery point. So I'm going to say use the last. I'm going to say next. Select the target container. So I'm just going to say, well, we'll put that on ESXi 2. We'll select the data store. This is subtly different, that we've actually basically got to select and the target VM folder. So I'll just say discover virtual machines, followed by next. It didn't ask me. I didn't notice. The only options I've got is cancel. I've not got no back. I didn't notice there. Maybe I should have clicked advance. What does it do if we click finish and run? For selected VMs, Observium. What I'm noticing is that there is already an Observium in the inventory. And is it actually basically just going to fall over and fail? Or is it going to auto rename it? Ah, okay. It's actually going to call it Observium recovered. So, it's currently running. Let's have a little look in the... okay, so we've got an Observium recovered there. It's reconfiguring and creating machines and initiating guest OS shadow and reviewing snapshots and doing things like that. 25% has been running at the moment, 32 seconds, 26%. So again, I'll just disappear. I'm going to get another sugar Coke and I'll come back and finish off, and we'll start up that virtual machine and we'll see whether or not it's captured our changes. Okay. Okay, restore complete. So we're going to have a little look at Observium recovered. Oh, it's actually automatically powered it on as well. And interestingly, it actually basically maintained and kept exactly the same MAC address. Didn't change it. So 192.168.182.103. So it's a good job that I actually basically turned the other one off. So with that, we're just going to, we'll do a couple of checks. Let's just do our 192.168.182.103. Okay, yeah, we've got the Observium panel that's running. I didn't do this before, but let's just, for shits and giggles, let's just log in and see whether or not that we do actually get a panel. Yeah, okay, yeah. So we've got some devices. It actually basically says that is down. That's not down. It's been down for 30 days. You know, this is the, just as an aside, you know, this is the nonsense of Ubiquity land with the whole SNMP thing, which is just hit and miss. Anyway, so Observium is working. So I'm just going to log in. And the first thing I'm looking for is to see whether or not that I've got any updates, and it says 0 updates can be applied immediately. So therefore I suspect that there probably is none. Let's do ls. Okay, so ee-test1's there. And we've got test.file. And if I just do a cd get update and let's just do an upgrade. And there is nothing. there you go. Nakivo backup and replication installed on a Synology NAS, which is running DSM-6, not DSM-7. We couldn't get the application working with vSphere 8.0 U2 because we need to be running 10.10 and not 10.8. And we'll have to wait until that actually basically comes from the Synology App Store. And I have actually pinged an email off to Nakivo to ask them that. We've installed the Nakivo backup and replication application on the Synology NAS. We're running DSM-6. We've then backed up Observium. We've turned off the Observium. We've then updated Observium with the security updates. We've then basically created a test directory and a test file. We've shut that one down and we've backed it up again, capturing those changes, those 1.8 gigs worth of changes. We've restored that incremental backup. We've started machine and we've checked to see if the updates are on there, and they are, and it's captured those changes. So there you go. Again, second third-party backup application, one for you to consider. Certainly if you've got a NAS, I don't think there are many. I was thinking that I thought that Veeam used to have something for a NAS, but I can't remember now whether or not that there's something that they're still doing. But certainly if you're a small organization and you've got a Synology NAS in place, currently racked up somewhere, and you're looking for a backup product, a third-party backup product, and again, it's actually part of your checklist and part of your requirements. I don't think that there are many other third-party backup products at the moment that actually basically have a plug-in to turn your Synology NAS into a virtual backup appliance, which effectively is what it is. Okay, so that's it. Definitely, this is it for 2023. This is the last video that I'm doing for Experts Exchange because I'm almost at the cutoff position where I need to basically get this edited, I need to get it transcoded, I need to get it updated, uploaded and published by Experts Exchange. So this is going to be the last one for 2023. Again, so festive greetings to you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, wherever you are in the world, and have a healthy, happy and a prosperous new year for 2024. And please come back in 2024 to watch more of these videos. We're going to be doing some, hopefully we're going to be doing some work on the Raspberry Pi CM4, maybe with Turing Pi or Blade Compute. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll probably have a look at some more backup applications. I'll have a look at the Synology application to do some backups. We'll revisit and get the DSM-7 patch so we can basically just tick that off. So lots more exciting things to come in 2024 in VMware by Broadcom land. So, and I've still got the I've still got my little VMware by Broadcom logo here. Again, so thank you very much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. So once again, thank you very much, and good night from me. Thank you and goodbye.